What is up, YouTube? My name is Trinity and welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you've been here before. I have a question. When you hear the word toxic, what do you think of? Nowadays, you might think of controversial influencers, tumultuous relationships, or even your own negative traits and habits. But what if instead of referring to someone who's maybe manipulative or passive-aggressive, you met someone who was literally toxic, as in being around them was dangerous for your health, maybe even deadly? Today we are going to be talking about a very puzzling case that fits this description. Gloria Cecilia Ramirez was born on January 11th, 1963 in Riverside, California. I couldn't find too much on her early life just because I assumed she was a fairly ordinary person. She was married and had 2 children, and unfortunately, at the time of the incident we're going to be discussing today, was battling late-stage cervical cancer. On February 19th, 1994, 31-year-old Gloria was rushed to Riverside General Hospital by paramedics at about 8:15 p.m. She was experiencing severe heart pains and having trouble breathing. Gloria was in a very confused state, and it wasn't clear if she could quite understand what was going on around her or if she even understood where she was. ER staff decided to sedate Gloria using diazepam, lorazepam, and midazolam. Though unfortunately she did not respond very well to these drugs, so they began using defibrillators. It was at this point that several staff members began noticing strange symptoms that Gloria was exhibiting, such as an oily sheen that appeared on her skin and a sweet garlicky scent coming from her mouth. Susan Kane, who was an RN helping with the treatment of Gloria, was tasked with taking blood samples for testing. After drawing blood from Gloria's arm, she noticed an ammonia-like smell coming from the test tube. She passed the vial to Julia Gerchinsky, a medical resident there, who noted seeing little manila-covered particles in the blood sample. Though after passing the vial to Julia, Susan collapsed unconscious. She was quickly taken out of the ER to be treated herself, but soon after, Julia began experiencing nausea and lightheadedness. She left the ER to go sit at a nearby nurse's station. When another staff member passed by and asked if she was okay, before she could even answer, she passed out as well. Back in the ER, Maureen Welch, who was a respiratory therapist helping with Gloria as well, also passed out. After this, staff was instructed to evacuate all ER patients to the parking lot, and a small skeleton crew was left behind to help with Gloria's treatment. Though, unfortunately, their work would be in vain. At 8:50 p.m. that night, Gloria was pronounced dead from kidney failure related to her cancer. A total of 23 people that had been within her vicinity that night became ill, and 5 needed to be hospitalized. The health department called in California's Department of Health and Human Services to investigate what the hell happened. Obviously, because any potential theories anyone could have had were terrifying. Dr. Anna Maria Osorio and Dr. Kirsten Waller were put on the case to investigate. They interviewed all 34 staff members that had been working the night that Gloria came in. They determined that the individuals that had experienced the most severe symptoms, such as muscle spasms, trouble breathing, and loss of consciousness, had worked within a few feet of Gloria that night. Those in that vicinity were considered high risk for whatever had happened. Though they also noted that women were more likely to be affected by what had happened than men were, and that blood tests from the people who had experienced symptoms all came back normal. Their conclusion was that the incident was nothing more than hospital staff experiencing mass hysteria. Julia, the medical resident who was the second one to faint that night, disagreed, using her own medical history as evidence. 2 weeks following the incident, she was admitted to the ICU with breathing problems, and had also developed hepatitis and avascular necrosis in her knees. Now, if this was ever officially linked to the incident, I don't know, but she said that these physical, long-lasting symptoms were proof that whatever had happened that night was not just a case of mass hysteria. The Riverside Coroner's Office called in their own investigation from the Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory. Now, what they theorized was that Gloria was self-medicating for her pain related to her cancer with DMSO, or dimethyl sulfoxide. DMSO is used as a degreaser and can be easily found in gel form in hardware stores. If used topically, it leaves an oily sheen very similar to the sheen that was seen on Gloria the night she came into the ER. Users also say it has a similar smell and taste to garlic, which again was the symptom that Gloria had. Many noted a garlicky smell or odor coming from her mouth. The scientists from Livermore said that the DMSO in her system could have led to a urinary blockage, which eventually caused kidney failure. The oxygen administered by paramedics could have also caused a chemical reaction with the DMSO in her system, turning it to dimethylsulfone, or DMSO2, which crystallizes at room temperature, which could explain the little manila particles that Julia saw in the blood sample when it was taken out of Gloria. The electricity from the defibrillators after could have converted the dimethylsulfone into dimethylsulfate. The change in temperature after taking the blood sample from Gloria and it cooling to room temperature also could have caused this chemical reaction. And all of the symptoms experienced, at least the ones exhibited that night, such as loss of consciousness and nausea, can be caused by dimethylsulfate. Now, this is a theory that is endorsed by the Riverside Coroner's Office, and this is the one that makes the most sense to me because you can walk through step by step every action that happened that night that could have led to this weird incident happening. Despite this, and despite how much sense it makes, Gloria's family apparently did not agree with it. But I don't think they put forward their own theories, or if they kind of just accepted the notion put forward by the other investigation that it was just mass hysteria and that Gloria had passed from symptoms related to her cancer. Whatever your thoughts and opinions on this case are, please leave them down below, because this is one of those cases where even though the theory that I talked about last makes so much sense to me and you can track it step by step with everything happening, I don't know, I wasn't there. And there's no way to 100% confirm that that's exactly what happened. So I'm curious, if you don't agree with this theory, what do you think happened that night? What happened with the toxic lady? Let me know down in the comments below. And lastly, I want to give a big thank you to all of the people that, again, have subscribed in my absence. I have a lot going on, but I am back, and I'm happy to be back, and I'm doing my best to upload more. Life is just hectic, though. I'm sure I don't have to tell you that. Life is just crazy for everyone at the moment, but I'm hoping these videos, no matter how sparse they are, can bring a smile to your day, or just make you think, or keep you entertained, or just be something in the background to listen to. I really appreciate you guys so much. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing if you're not already subscribed, and click the notification bell so you'll be notified when I upload. And if you feel so inclined, please click the like button, and even share with your friends if you think that this video is something that they'd enjoy as well. If you're interested in the weird, spooky true crime stuff, be sure to check out my true crime playlist down below as well. I'll have it linked in the description. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.